A whole bunch of us have been up all night reading the latest filing from the Department of Justice, this infamous photograph that is now doing the rounds of papers strewn across the floor. I just want to deal with that first because I recognize that there is some misinformation floating around. And a lot of it, guess what, has come from the man himself. Yes, Donald Trump, posting on Truth Social. Terrible the way the FBI, during the raid of Mar-a-Lago, threw documents haphazardly all over the floor, perhaps pretending it was me that did it, and then started taking pictures of them for the public to see. Thought they wanted them kept secret. Lucky, declassified. Where do we start with this? I mean, firstly, his grammar is disgraceful. Secondly, this photograph was obviously one of these typical FBI kind of evidence-gathering photographs where they're like, look, we'll just position all of these out. This is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. It's just for the records, right? This is not how we found it. There are other photographs, I'm sure, of how they found these documents, probably in his drawer, as we've now discovered, in boxes, filing boxes. But this was a presentation image. And that is blatantly obvious for anybody with half a brain. Even people who watch CSI will realize that that's all this photograph was. But of course, the talking points from Republicans now are all coming from Donald Trump. A, referring to it as a raid of Mar-a-Lago. It was not a raid, it was a search conducted quietly while he was out of residence. They didn't throw any documents haphazardly anywhere. They were placed very carefully, as you can see, so that there is no incriminating or certainly classified information that is showing. And all this whole thing of I thought they wanted them kept secret, I mean, he's actually perjuring himself here, isn't he? Kind of admitting that these are secret documents. And then, of course, this rather crappy I declassified everything so it doesn't matter anyway, which of course at this point now is pointless. It's too late to say I declassified everything. Declassified himself, maybe. So that's the first thing I think we should look at, is the fact that this photograph is an example and it shouldn't be taken any more than that. It's actually the filing which is important. It's what the Department of Justice are looking at as a crime. The obstruction of justice, the Espionage Act. These are the important elements, and these are the things that Trump can't talk his way out of or wriggle out of. The reality is now that the law has finally caught up with him. This is a man who his entire life has managed to stay out of jail by passing the buck, blaming other people, employees or surrogates or lawyers. He's struggled his whole life to kind of just keep the law at bay. And finally, you become the president. You are accountable to the people. You are accountable to the law. And no matter how much wriggling you do, no matter how much kind of craziness you post on Truth Social, which of course he did yesterday, I mean, it was like a stream of consciousness or unconsciousness. The insanity of Donald Trump during this process was kind of fascinating to see, wasn't it? Posting stuff from QAnon, retweeting stuff that was really from the darkest places of the web that you might say, okay, well, some kind of crazy crackpot hacker might want to post. This is the former president of the United States posting all of this insane stuff. You can criticize the mainstream and the mainstream media all you like, but I have news for you. The Department of Justice is the mainstream. The FBI is the mainstream. And the office of the President of the United States is the mainstream. And it's finally caught up with him. I'm Anthony Davis. You can hear me every day on the 5 Minute News podcast and on Sundays on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
This November is Rovember. MeidasTouch just released its brand new collection of Rovember t-shirts and pins to let the country know what's at stake this upcoming midterm election. Go to store.meidastouch.com to grab yours. That's store.meidastouch.com.